And joining us today is Justice Undersecretary and Attorney Jesse Andres. Sir, magandang hapon and welcome back to Storycon.
Magandang hapon.
Good afternoon,
Yusek.
Yes, sir.
And Ami, good afternoon sa inyo. Mabuhay.
And Tito Ronald is also joining us here.
Oh,
Sir,
Merry Christmas, Yusek. No? Hindi kami
Advance
namamasko.
Merry Christmas.
well, sir, follow up lang dun sa recommendation, of course, ng Quad Committee to file charges of crimes against humanity under RA 9851 against the former president and so on down the line. I understand the president has ordered the DOJ to assess the recommendations. Do we have any word as to where we are right now as far as that is concerned?
Yes. Thank you for that opportunity, Ed. But allow me to give a better context so that we can more intelligently discuss the next steps.
Mm-hmm.
You see, nung nagsimula po tayo, noong 2022, the Philippines was under a United Nations Joint Program for Human Rights.
Mm-hmm.
In the aftermath, let me give some details. In the aftermath of the bloody drug war, bloody drug war, I mean, 30,000 people daw po from some quarters saying ang namatay. So on the part of the government, we are admitting around 5,000 people dead in the course of the bloody war on drugs. So napakasama po ng imahe ng Pilipinas such that in the United Nations, Iceland filed a resolution to put the Philippines under the Human Rights Watch List. Yan po ang nangyari. Kaya po tayo ay sumang-ayon sa isang programa para palakasin ang mga institusyon to protect and promote human rights under the UNJP program. So now, coming into the new administration, we were faced with that situation. And we were not helpless to address it. And we immediately institutionalized certain reforms to address this. Unang-una po, nakipag-ugnayan po kami sa DILG, sa Philippine National Police, to change the parameters within which police officers are being evaluated on their performance. Dati po, ang tinatawag nila dyan in colloquial terms, nagkaroon po ng quota system. Kaya po hindi maganda ang naging resulta dahil po sa dami ng kasong fina-file at sa proseso po na kung paano pina-implement yung war on drugs, marami pong sinawing palad. So we had to change the parameters by which performance evaluation of police officers were being done. At nagawa na po natin yan. Pangalawa, ano po bang ginawa natin after natanggal na yung quota system? We had to institutionalize also measures by which we investigate criminal offenses. Dati po, probable cause, pwede na kayong iharas sa isang kaso. Kaya po yung mga nakakabarkada-barkada, pinipick up sa isang lugar, nagpa-planting ng mga 1 gramo ng shabu, sobrang dami pong nakasuhan. 70,000 people incarcerated. That's why yung problema rin ho natin sa jail congestion nangyari. Sobra ho. 390% congested ang jail system natin. So everything that we were doing was trying to address the human rights aspect of this. So tinaas ho natin ang threshold of evidence. I'm making this opportunity to explain this kasi hindi po alam ng taong bayan ito eh. Hindi na po probable cause ang basis to file a case against a person to stand trial in court. Tinaas na ho namin yan. Ang tawag po namin, prima facie evidence with reasonable certainty of conviction. Yung pong solid na kaso na kumpleto ang ebidensya sa lahat ng elemento ng krimen na malaki po ang tsansa na aabot sa conviction sa korte. Dati-rati ho walang pakialam ang kapulisan at ang DOJ file ng weak na cases at nabibinbin lang po ang mga kaso sa korte at that causes another problem we call court congestion. So both jail congestion and court congestion are now being addressed with this. So nangyari na nga po yung drug war. Ang una pong ginawa namin, inaudit po namin ano ba ang totoong numero ng taong na sinawing palad dyan sa drug war. More than 5,000 pala. In the final analysis, almost 7,000 people. Dahil yun ang una naming inalam. Ilan talaga ang nadisgrasya. But one death is a death too many already in our point of view. So, ito pong Quadcom, pinagpatuloy niya yung investigasyon ng EJ case. Dahil nung panahon po, nung nakaraang administrasyon, wala pong naglakas loob na imbestigahan yan. At umabot na nga po tayo sa punto na people think they have gotten away with impunity. That's why the ICC tried to come in and exert some effort to get down to the bottom of the truth whether indeed there were crimes against humanity and the violations of international humanitarian law. And that was the time when we were still members of the ICC, a member of the ICC. So, pag-isipan po natin yan. Ngayon, bago pa po nagtuloy-tuloy yung Quadcom hearings on the part of the Department of Justice, nagtayo na po kami ng task force on extrajudicial killings. So part po ng regular na trabaho namin yan dahil kami po ay nakikipag-ugnayan sa mga biktima, sa mga civil society organizations for us to be able to build up a case. Kasi we are not standing to allow this culture of impunity to continue. So kami po mismo ay nagsisikap na mag-file ng mga kaso para po mabigyan ng hustisya. And napakaraming naging biktima ng bloody war on drugs na yan. At kami po, sinasabi namin sa mga biktima, baka hindi natin mabigyan ng hustisya ang libo-libong biktima. Ngunit, makapagbigay tayo ng hustisya sa iilan, 10, 11, a handful. Justice for one is justice for all of the victims already. Dahil most probably, kung sino po ang mananagot sa mga pangyayaring ito, ay grupong tao rin na dapat managot sa libong mga napinsala at nabiktima.
Let me just back up a bit kasi previously we've been hearing about the reward and the quota system from, for example, Espinido and from Garma. So you're now confirming that there's an official finding by government that there really was a quota system dun sa drug war? Is this what, am I getting this right?
Yeah. We cannot use the word quota system because, as I said, it's a colloquial term na nagkaroon po ng tawag. Bakit po napakaraming pangyayari na kinakasuhan, 70,000, at ang nangyayari po dyan, kahit mahina ang kaso, pinapile. Nakikita po namin, template po ang ginagamit na complaint. Pareho-pareho po. Kaya nadidismiss naman ang kaso dahil sa tingin namin, walang tunay na basihan ang mga kaso. Kaya po kailangan namin i-reforma yung sistema na hindi na pwedeng probable cause. At ang prosecutor na magpapile ng kaso should first certify that based on his personal evaluation, he or she believes that there is sufficient evidence to prove all the elements of the crime. Kung hindi po siya mananagot sa Prosecution Integrity Board, siya po ang ma-administrative case. Kaya po, kumunti na po ang pinapile na kaso ngayon. At mas maganda na ang takbo ng hustisya dahil hindi na ho basta-basta based on probable cause. Now,
Yusek, dagdagan ko lang yung tanong ni Eda.
You're
talking about a quota for cases filed. Yung aresto, yung cases. Kasi ang pinag-uusapan dun sa quad na quota, yung quota sa pagpatay
well,
na nire-reward nila. Pero kasama din po yun sa sinasabi niyong quota, yung patay, yung case filed, yung inakyat sa, yung overall quota na, yung number of cases na i-report ng pulis, eto, nahuli namin to, napatay namin to, na-file namin to, is that the quota you are talking about? O puro patay lang?
Kasi po, paano naman sila makaka-aresto kung walang illegal drug operations? In the course of the illegal drug operations, dyan po nangyayari yung tinatawag na nanlaban. Kaya dahil sa operations na nagkaroon ng nanlaban, naging libo-libo po ang namatay at napinsala dyan sa war on drugs na yan. At ngayon nga po, kaya nga pinagduduktong ko na, buti naman at nagkaroon na ng lakas loob ang ating mga opisyalis na simulan ang investigasyon in a broader manner. Yung Quadcom po, nagsapina at pinaharap ang mga important resource persons at yan pong committee report na yan is a good starting point for the Department of Justice, National Prosecution Service to tie up all of this evidence together with our initial task force on EJ case. Para ho malaman natin kung paano natin bubuin yung kaso, para magkaroon naman po ng closure or justisya doon po sa mga libo-libong biktima
Yun yung
na
concern ko.
hanggang ngayon po umiiyak at dumadaing ng justisya.
Yun, Yusek, yung concern ko dahil ang recommendation kasi ng Quadcom ay magsampa ng kaso invoking the IHL, no, International Humanitarian Law, which is basically crimes against humanity, no?
Yes.
Ang tanong ko, Yusek, yun din ba ang inclination ng gobyerno, ng DOJ? Dahil pwede kasing gamitin niya ng mga Duterte to invoke yung sinasabi nating complementarity na
Yes.
wala na yung ICC na yan dahil meron ng kaso rito na crimes against humanity. Hindi nyo ba fina-factor in yan? Dahil mas mahaba na yung case build-up ng ICC eh. At saka mas hindi ganung klase, mas madaling hindi i-pressure yung ICC dahil mga foreign judges yan na medyo hindi madaling i-pressure at medyo mahaba na yung kanilang case build-up at yung mga testigo na matagal nang nandun, hawak nila. Dahil sayang naman kung mag-invoke sila ng
between you and
complementarity.
me,
Oo.
yung napakatagal na ginagawa na nila yan, totoo lang napakatagal.
Pero
Bakit wala pa rin silang action?
pero ganyan talaga ang record ng
We
ICC.
cannot wait for them
Yusek, ganyan talaga.
We are being very careful on
Yes.
how to handle this.
Yes, pero
Because
Yusek,
as you said,
Yusek, kung
there is a
titignan nyo,
complementary
pero kung
rule.
titignan nyo yung track record ng ICC, 7 years talaga eh. Usual na kaso. Kila Milosevic, dun sa mga warlords sa Africa. At ngayon, nasa 7th year na tayo. Kaya lalabas na yan sooner than sooner. Ang sinasabi ko lang, yun talaga yung process nila, 7 years.
Yeah. We will wait what will happen with respect to the initiative of the ICC. And on our part, dahil po kami ay naatasan under the revised administrative code to be the primary government agency to investigate and prosecute crimes, we have to do our part. And we will handle this very carefully because I understand your point of view and we do not want to compromise any available remedy that could possibly render justice to the people who were victims of injustice. We are all together in that objective. Kaya tama po kayo. We are being very careful on how to do this. But we cannot be, idle and not do anything about this, given the fact that people are yearning for justice.
Definitely. Pero may window ba kayo, Justice, na hindi IHL yung isasampang kaso? Dahil may, halimbawa, si Taguba, si Guban, meron silang mga testimony about drug importation. Diba? Yung iba may testimony about individual homicide cases. Yung iba may testimony about illegal gambling, human trafficking, at saka money laundering. So, ibig sabihin, marami namang options eh. Maraming options.
Tama po kayo dyan. We will not spare any possible criminal offense or charge that will be supported by evidence. Yung babanggitin ko sa inyo, yung dalawang bagay na medyo maganda yung takbo. Yun pong tatlong prisoners who were killed under state custody.
Yes.
And meron na pong ebidensya dyan linking the people who could possibly be involved in this EJK. And then yung pangalawa pong insidente, yung sa PCSO General Manager naman, na pinatay at mukhang meron ding conspiracy on how to execute this at meron na po tayong linkages dyan. Pero to our mind, the higher threshold of evidence should still be assured through the proper investigation of the National Bureau of Investigation, the Philippine National Police, together with the report of the Quadcom. Papagsama-samahin po natin yan, kasama po yung earlier evidence that was already gathered by our own task force, the DOJ task force on EJKs, and another task force on the POGOs. So, handa po tayo dyan. At we will leave no stone unturned for us to get to the bottom of the truth. This government, this administration is committed to follow the rule of law. That is all that I can assure you. If it is something that is viable under the rule of law, cases will be filed and people will be held legally accountable, whoever they may be. Sorry to say, that is our duty, and I hope people will understand that someone has to stand up for justice. And
Yes, sir.
it is the institution that should stand up. And for this particular case, it is the National Prosecution Service that will do its duty.
Sir, kung matuloy man,
Pero Yusek, kung papatawag niya si former President Duterte, it will be in relation to IHL eh. Kasi wala
No,
naman siyang
not
direct,
necessarily.
wala naman siyang direct dun sa yung Carolina Garma cases eh. So,
Not
ang
necessarily.
balita namin ngayon, you are planning to subpoena him, si former President Duterte, and it will be for IHL, possible.
Hindi po.
Yan na ba yung
Hindi po.
pinaperso niya? Ngayon lang kayo magpaperso niyan actually eh. Kasi before sa EJK lang kayo eh.
Hindi po.
Hindi po tayo nagsasabi na ang posibleng pagsapina kay Pangulong Duterte ay tungkol sa IHL. Hindi po. Marami pong dahilan. Dahil po, part ng proseso under preliminary investigation is to issue a subpoena to all the respondents. So, hindi po particular na IHL or Crimes Against Humanity ang dahilan po kung bakit siya haharap. Sa katunayan, ang sinabi ko pong nauna ay marami na pong binitawan na pahayag ang dating Pangulong Duterte doon sa Quadcom, which is under oath at assisted by counsel, which are all admissible evidence already. So we may or may not need any further testimony on his part, but due process requires that he be given an opportunity to be subpoenaed for the purpose of submitting his counter affidavit to put up his defenses against the possible charges. It can be IHL, crimes against humanity, it can be murder, it can be complicity in the POGO issues. Hindi pa po natin alam yan kasi nga mabuti pong pinag-aaralan muna ng DOJ lahat ng ebidensya bago po mag-craft ng particular complaint that will be answered by the potential respondents. And please understand, yung potential respondents natin dito ay napakalalaking tao. Posible, some of them are retired high officials. Posible, some of them are incumbent high officials. That's why we have to tread our ground very carefully. We do not want any violation of human rights. And due process will have to be observed strictly every step of the way. That's why hindi ho namin pinipreempt yung possible defenses nila. They will have their day during preliminary investigation.
Sir, kung matuloy man ang kaso, na Crimes Against Humanity against the former president, paano magiging dynamics yan between the Philippine government and the ICC? I asked that kasi RA 9851 has Section 17, which states that the Philippine government may surrender jurisdiction of prosecution and investigation to an international tribunal that is ready conducting an investigation or prosecution of a suspect. Again, the operative word being may. So, question to...
Naintindihan ko po yan, pero hindi po ako ang magbibigay ng opinion dyan. Dahil interagency meeting po yan at ang mangunguna pong magsalita dyan ang Department of Foreign Affairs at hindi po ang DOJ. So all of this will have to be taken in an interagency meeting kung paano natin i-harmonize yung effort ng gobyerno. But at the end of the day, to my mind, whether justice is secured through the ICC or through our own institutions, I hope that justice will be served.
In a way, it is also a political decision.
Yeah, it's a political decision. A very political decision, I suppose. Sir, last question, sir. Bago tayo, kasi pinapaano tayo. Last question lang. When you talk about a possible subpoena for the former president, I suppose that's a mandatory summons?
Paano kung hindi siya
Hindi
dumalo? Halimbawa, katulad ni Vice President, pinapatawag ng NBI, hindi dumalo. Yung mga ganun ba?
Hindi. Ganito po yan. Yung konteksto po niyan sa kasalukuyan, kailangan naming mag-imbestiga muna at kumuha ng ebidensya mula sa Quadcom, mula sa NBI, sa police, at evaluate po natin yan sa isang comprehensive report that will be crafted into a complaint. So that will now identify the crime or crimes that could possibly be charged against these high officials. Now, part po ng proseso ng preliminary investigation is to provide the respondent the charges against him, the proposed charges, the complaint containing the facts. Now, obligasyon po ng DOJ na ipatawag sila para bigyan ng pagkakataon to file their counter affidavit. Yung denials nila or assertions of truth or facts in their defense. So yun po yung konteksto nun. Hindi po dahil pinipilit natin silang sumagot sa subpoena, hindi po. Ngunit obligatory po yun na bigyan sila ng pagkakataon to present a counter affidavit. If they choose not to heed, it is their right to waive the presentation of their evidence. And we will still continue to make an evaluation and determine whether there is sufficient basis on the evidence to file a case in court. So wala pong problema yon. But ang pinagdiriinan ko po dito, sana po lahat tayo ay sumailalim sa proseso para po mapatunayan natin at magkaroon tayo ng mas matibay na pagkakataon na mas strengthen ang ating institusyon.
Okay.
Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat.
Undersecretary Attorney Jesse Andres. Sir,
Happy
thank
New
you
Year.
for joining us this afternoon.
Merry Christmas.
Salamat po.
No, Merry Christmas.
Happy weekend po.
Yeah.